is.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Disconcur here, and sorry for that intro not having any sound. Wow, my day has just been so messed up when it comes to getting my computer up and running. I don't know, it just exploded. It took a rain of destruction from Gul'dan. Anyway, guys, it's Heroes Untapped. It's episode 4. It's we're talking about the final preseason. We're talking about preseason for the ANZ region. How exciting was that? But before we talk about how amazing it was, let's introduce our 2 outstanding guests for the show tonight. He's been on before.
Sorry to interrupt you, my friend. Before you go introducing people, we all know that today is a very special date. It is your birthday. Mm-hmm. So, Chris and Tomato, join me, please, in singing Happy Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Disco. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip.
Hooray!
Hip hip!
Hooray!
Oh. Can I get a hooray in chat?
Thank you.
Sorry, back to your introductions, Disco.
Thank you very much. Today is my birthday, 19th of February. I'll take the present cards with the money in them. Just send them through to. No, that's all right. Anyway, our 2 amazing guests after such a beautiful moment. Obviously, he's been on the show before. It is ANZ's own Ryder, Tomato, good sir. How you going? How was the preseason final night?
Oh man, preseason was awesome. I really enjoyed watching. I actually didn't get to watch it live, unfortunately, but that night I went back and I watched it all, and then I watched it a second time for my writing, and it was intense, I think, is just the best way to describe it.
And then you went into the bedroom, you turned off the lights, and you watched it a third time for the romance.
Yeah, it was steamy, to say the least.
It was a heated emotional end to a great. They're not even not even the season of the year or the phase 1, just the beginning. And of course, sitting next to Tomato down below in virtual space, I guess you could say, it is the producer himself, one of the bigwigs behind GameStar. Is of course Crisis. Crisis, good sir. Welcome to Heroes Untapped. Not your first time on the show, but maybe we can have you a little bit longer this time. We had one night where you had a very important meeting, and so you were going to come on the show for just 10 minutes. But then the meeting went ahead earlier than scheduled.
Yeah, I can't actually remember what it was, but it was something that I couldn't miss. So
it was very important. It must have been something to do with my hair or my beard at the time.
Or your lack of beard now.
Yeah, looking very different. It's is this in celebration of the Premier League?
Do you know when Darksided pulled out of the league, I shaved it off.
Oh, it was a dark-sided beard.
I'm kidding. No, it was always only going to be for PAX. Like, I grow a beard during winter, and it's normal for most of the year. And then, the opportunity arose. It was the right moment for it, Darksided versus Nomi at the end of the year. And I just thought, well, this is the time to, put some skin in the game. Yeah. And it worked out very well, I think. I really enjoyed it.
It was, I have to say, I'm sad to see the beard gone. As a beard man.
It'll be back.
In winter.
Well, it'll be back for the next PAX. So, I might actually do a thing where whichever team wins, I guess it'll have to be phase 2 by then. Whoever wins phase 2, it's going to be the color of their logo. So I've got a really good hairdresser these days who's prepared to color my beard any color I want. So
growing it back for BlizzCon, because BlizzCon happens around PAX as well. Usually a week before or a week after, as the timing's been for the last couple of years.
Right, I've never been to a BlizzCon, so
you got to
be a first for me.
You got to change that, Crisis. It's I can't even explain it. It's just I don't know. We'll talk less about our experiences at BlizzCon, and we'll talk more about the final. I call it finals, but the final night last week, the preseason results, and what a massive night. So obviously there was 6 teams up in the air, right, who were going to be our finalists, going to go across and meet. There were 6 teams in the air, but only 5 teams could go. And it's blank. Who was one of those teams?
I know who one of those teams wasn't. One of those teams was the undefeated GG Go Next. They definitely qualified, as their name says. They were undefeated. They came back from what could have been a very bitter ending of preseason and took that top spot very convincingly, might I add. There were a few other contenders. The big thing was that the 3 spots up for grabs essentially for that 3rd, 4th, 5th place were the ones that were the most contested. Tomato, you wrote up about these guys last week.
I did, and so the article for Tuesday night isn't actually going up until tomorrow, I believe. But essentially, I think it was just really interesting how we had Neko, Mimi, and Downfall starting off for like the first game. And it's like you have this situation where one of these teams, if they win, they immediately qualify. And then you have a situation where we start seeing in chat, hold up, Rich Gang has beaten Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, which puts them down onto 1 game last. Like, if they lose 1 more game, they're out. And so everyone immediately realized the stakes for the GG Go Next game against Mickey Mouse was immediately so much higher. And so everyone was just like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And
it just wrote itself, right? It's one of those still like you can't write this stuff. So just to give context of what happened, so we've talked about it weeks on weeks, but let's just one more for the fans at home. So GG Go Next, they were originally dark-sided. Then there was a bit of, let's call it roster poaching, done by another team called the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Not only did we see the Darkside org lead the scene over this as a whole, they're no longer a presence. Maybe they're coming back, who knows, but they're no longer a presence. But we saw one of the members defect to the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. So that's the trouble here, right? They poached. One of the members went back. So to set this game up in its full glory, you had a team, the Mickey Mouse Club, who everyone was 100% a shoo-in to go in. 100% going to get in to the premiere in a spot where they could actually be knocked out by the team that they poached a player from.
Yep.
Crisis, as the man behind the scenes, right? You have an extra level of involvement in this because not only are you sitting there and you're producing it on the night, but you went through all the drama quite closely with Blizzard regarding the moving of players, the poaching, interpreting the rules. What are the emotions that run behind? I guess that run on your shoulder when something like this happening. Like, how do you contain yourself from not just, I don't know, screaming into the mic, what an amazing moment, or this is incredible, or just the adulation.
I mean, it's like you say, we couldn't have written it better. That, like, on the last night, you want to have matches on stream and you want to have matches going on that really matter. We had a single round robin tournament, and we just accepted the bracket scheduling that tournament put together for us. Fantastic software. We just absolutely love it. So glad that we switched to it. So when we were looking at the matches that were to be played in the last week, it was actually really easy for us to choose what was going to be on stream. When you mentioned Rich Gang versus Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, I mean, we were actually spoiled for choice. We could have had that one on stream as well. And it was just superb. It made for the most spectacular end to the bracket, because it could have been like a fait accompli. We could have had all 5 teams decided by the end of week 3, and everybody was just going through the motions on the final night.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case at all. It went right down to the wire. And let me tell you, I can't tell you some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I'm not just the producer of the broadcast. I'm the tournament operator. So GameStay is the tournament operator, commissioned by Blizzard ANZ to run it. So there is stuff obviously that we're privy to that we can't share. But also I've got personal opinions about what should or shouldn't have been done by the players, by the teams, by the organizations involved, by Blizzard, and I can't actually talk about any of those because I'm contracted by or GameStay is contracted by Blizzard. But what I can say is, one of the things that I've learned as a tournament operator in the short time that I've been doing it, because I've only been doing this for 1.5 years. That's just a tip for anybody who wants to get involved. Just start doing it, because if you work at it and you connect with the right people, and I was very fortunate to be able to start connecting with the right people in a very short space of time, you can find yourself in a space where you're doing official stuff for Blizzard ANZ. It's amazing. But one of the things that I learned was just don't say anything. Yeah. Just let the shit. I'm allowed to swear on it, right?
Yeah.
You can swear.
Just let the shitstorm happen. People need to be able to say what they say and read everything that people say, but don't say anything in response, because you'll just stir up the shitstorm yourself more. And you need to be in a position where, after everybody's vented and everybody's got all of their cards on the table, you can go into a back room with the admins and your Eugene, essentially, from Blizzard, and have a kind of an almost a detached conversation about what decision you need to make. And before you even decide what you make, you have to kind of play out all of the repercussions of what the decisions are. And not saying anything and just letting it happen, and then making the decision, and then letting the season play out with that decision made. I feel as though it's worked out the way it should have.
It's funny you sort of say that. Yeah, I call it's almost poetic, right? It's so many people in the scene with decisions made weren't impressed with the ruling, but it's gotten us to this position. So it's either by design and it's worked fantastically, or it's created a poetic end to the season through the preseason, I should say. It doesn't matter. It's worked out in the end. We'll just carry on from that. So the highlight of that is the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is out. They're in open division. I'm very happy to hear that they are sticking around, though. That was always a fear that you might have a team of that caliber, because they do have the skills to be in the Premier League.
Well, we could almost argue that they have the skills to go to BlizzCon, Disco.
Well, most of them didn't they?
Kind of. Most of them.
Well, they did, right?
You've got to be careful about that, because a team isn't just about a team's potential isn't just about their last performance and how things went, and what they've done in the past. The teams can rise and fall on form, and form is something that is very largely determined not just by practice and capability, but also by the mental game.
Yep.
And, I don't know that, it's proved that their mental game wasn't in the right space on that final night to earn them that berth in the phase final. So, yes, in the past, they had the capability to get themselves through to an international final, but their mental state deteriorated from that point onwards. And I want to echo what you guys have said. It's great that they're sticking together. I think that one of the key facets of a mature scene, and a scene that's going to be sustainable, is for people to be able to weather defeats like that and pick themselves up and create that story, that fucking legend of the team where they made this tragic mistake. It was a tragic mistake that they made. And now they've got to go through a 6-month gauntlet to get themselves to promotions, relegations. And I don't want them to sit there, if they're watching this, now or on the VOD, I don't want them to kind of just go, well, we're going to play the 6 months and get to the promotion relegation tournament. Don't assume that. You're going to have to work really, really hard and prove that you are worthy to get through to that promotion relegation tournament. And I think that's a really exciting thing, and it's going to bring some real flavor to the Wednesday night broadcasts on GameStar TV 1.
I wish I had a ton of graphics pre-organized so I could just bring them up every time. Something like that. That's beautiful. Well, that's it. That's Open Div obviously is starting next week, or is it? It is starting the same week as preseason.
Same week as Premier. Yeah.
All right. That's awesome. So very quickly, we'll just shoot through for those who aren't aware of the team that actually. Sorry, go to Mano.
I'd also like to make mention of the final game that happened on Tuesday night, which was actually Rich Gang versus GG. So we'd seen GG had just knocked out Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and then it was proven that they were undefeated. Rich Gang was undefeated, and they were going up against each other. And I think that was just, while Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and GG was the most important game of the night for a lot of people, I think that Rich Gang was the cherry on top. The perfect way to end the preseason by defining who is the undefeated team. Who are the ones who are going into the new season with that level of respect being demanded of them? And it turns out to be the team who lost a member and had to pull in a sub. I think that says massive amounts as to the quality of GG Go Next and what we can expect from them personally.
It really locks them into when you separate, because I always look at the top 5 going into the Premier League, because so the top 5 from the preseason are GG Go Next, Rich Gang, Neko Mimi, Quick Match Warriors or QM Warriors, and Downfall. So those are our 5 top teams. And you look at them, you got to think, well, how are they going to stack up against the other 3 teams that have already pre-qualified? You know, obviously Nomia, Crimson Gaming, and Outlaws. And I was always concerned that we were always going to have this divide or separation, right? We'd have the top 3 and then the bottom 5. But because
but no,
not at all. We've now got these guys, you know, GG Go Next, who were Milkshake more or less last year, or members of Milkshake. They've developed, they've improved, they've developed, and now I feel they definitely should be considered top 4 in Premier League. And depending how the season goes, because the Premier League is a 7-week single round robin. Single round robin tournament, I believe, Crisis.
Yeah. So the format is everybody's in a single round robin bracket. So there's 8 teams, which means so they all play everybody else once. And in order to do that, you need 7 rounds to complete the bracket.
Yep.
So the season is actually 9 weeks long. So there's a 4-week period, and then a break, and then another 4-week period. So in that second half, what we'll be doing is we'll be spreading out the week 3 and 4 matches, so that we've tried to use our crystal ball and figure out exactly what the big matches are going to be like at the end of that season, you know, to kind of determine finishing places. And so the schedule is going to be released later tonight to the teams, and then it'll go public after that. But what we'll be doing in those last couple of weeks is, instead of having 2 matches per night, we're going to have 1 match per night, and we'll have a bit of a build up before each of those matches to kind of look at how the teams have done over the season with the other 6 opponents that they've had to face, and now here's their 7th opponent. And, you know, we're hoping that those matches are going to be like make or break for the teams that are involved.
It's going to be another pre-season ender, but during the actual season itself, during phase 1.
Yeah. So hopefully we get it right. I mean, that said, I don't think that any of the teams that have made it through to Premier, like you were alluding to, I don't think any of them are kind of just filler teams. I think they all really have some good potential. Obviously, some more than others, and we'll see that developing after the first couple of weeks for sure. But I really think that we're going to get some really good quality heroes throughout the season from all of these teams.
So, in 100%, yeah, there's no filler teams here. They're all definitely have earned their spot to be here. I just want to ask Tomato, what are your thoughts on scheduling? Because I feel that there is a couple of these teams, however, that depending on the scheduling, if they go up against, say, some of the bigger teams like Noma and Outlaws first, they're going to get a bit of a surprise, as opposed to if they went up to them later in the scheduling. I'd just love to get your thoughts on that. Like, do you think? Yeah,
I think that is definitely a concern, and I remember I was watching a Town Hall Heroes episode that had who was it? It might have been Arcana, but it might have been someone else on the show, and they were talking about the scene and how essentially there was some teams who went up against Fnatic and Dignitas right off the bat. I think it was actually Arcana. I think he was talking about how Method went up against those teams super early, and how it had a kind of interesting effect on them because they learnt a lot, essentially. But also, on the other hand, Method were the number 3 team from the beginning when it came to expectations, I think, over in EU. So it does beg the question, like, what would happen if, say, some of the teams who were on the bottom end of this top 5, I think it wouldn't be unfair to say Quick Match Warriors went up. What if they went up against Nomia, for example, and in the first few weeks? I think that would be quite a big challenge for them, and I think that it would be one that could really, honestly, shape their entire mentality all the way through. It really would depend on whether they looked at it and absorbed the information, or if they were demoralized by it.
Yeah.
And I personally think that Quick Match Warriors is sleeper OP. I think they're actually quite good. I was really impressed by them in the first couple of weeks when we saw them play.
Well, I'd
never heard of them before, honestly, before that.
Well, no one in the top 5. It's just an interesting thing for stats here. No one in the top 5 lost more than 4 games. True. They all won 10, lost 4. So out of the majority of the preseason, they're all consistent. In fact, Neko Mimi, Quick Match Warriors, and Downfall all pretty much ended. I think that pretty much did end on the same 10-4 score. 10 wins, 4 losses. Blank. We're talking about that. We're talking about, you go up against Nomia first, you lose. But that means you got the hard game out of the way, right? You learn so much, and then you spend the next 8 weeks. Sorry, I've got a story, Blank. Listen to my story.
I'll listen to your story.
You spend the next, 7 to 8 weeks, whatever the time frame is, learning from that game. So now you go the rest of your season, and you don't have to worry about fighting them or losing at the end. Your crux point isn't against Nomia. Your crux point is against maybe someone a bit easier, someone that hasn't fared so well in the season.
Well, that was an argument that I actually made for the preseason, where a few of the Onyx teams were a bit upset and slightly disheartened that they had to face off against some of these top teams. And pretty much all of their first week's games were some of their top teams, which I just used that exact analogy and said, look, just think of it this way. The rest of your games are going to be easier. But it turned out that obviously the pressure may have been a little bit too much for them, and we had a few teams pull out over the course of the tournament. How many teams, Chris, did you get a number on how many teams actually pulled out throughout the tournament?
No, I think 2 or 3. It wasn't a huge amount. But tournament matches in the early rounds, it matches highest seed versus lowest seed. There's your hint. Tomato, just a spoiler, Tomato was bang on the money. That's going to be the first match that Nomia's first match is going to be against Quick Match Warriors. So,
wow, spoilers.
So
predicted.
Good picking. But everybody has to play everybody else. And if you want to be able to get yourself to the Intercontinental Clash, you need to be able to win when it matters most. One of the things that I would like to point out about that match, though, is Nomiya has been scrimming for the last 4 weeks. Quick Match Warriors have been playing for their lives, essentially.
Yeah.
In a competitive cauldron, essentially, or chalice, or whatever you want to call it. And they have come out, through the other end, toughened and gelled together, I would expect. So, they might be, lower seed, or, fifth qualifier from the, but they played some excellent heroes, and they will come through that as opponents facing Nomiya with, I think, a really good mentality.
Well, that's a very fair point. I think that the whole concept of the top 3 teams haven't been playing competitively for the past 4 weeks, and then the time before the preseason, like they could be a little out of practice in comparison with the teams who are just qualifying now.
Yes. It's on top of that, you've got all the teams that have qualified. They've been playing against essentially each other and watching all of their VODs and watching their games, some of them live when they've had buys. But to go back to what you were saying, it really depends on the mentality of that team. If that team's going in against some of the top tier teams, like if QM Warriors go in thinking, oh, we're going to get beaten and just take it, no lube, whatever, and
take it all, quick match,
and don't learn anything from it, then they're going to get disheartened. They're going to get demoralized, and they're not going to be able to compete later on down the track, or even if they are against easier players. But if they go into it with the mindset of, let's just go in, do our best, play the way we play, learn as much as we can from it, and then just go back and replay and learn from that, I think they can take it all the way.
I think I've seen some interesting mentalities when it comes to lower level teams going up against higher level teams in other regions. I've seen kind of people's mentality who have end up successful going in and being like, okay, this is probably going to be a loss. Let's experiment. Let's try some new things. Let's see what could work. Let's be innovative and try and learn as much as we can. We may have to write this off as a loss, but let's see how much we can learn. And I think that that's an interesting mentality to go with it towards. But also the mentality of, let's just do our best and try to win is kind of a double-edged sword, I think, because if you go in and you just try to win, then if you lose, that can be crushing. It can really just be like, okay, you absolutely, no matter how hard you try, cannot beat this other team. How does that feel? And especially in a round robin like this, they don't have another opportunity to go up against that team. They can't go on and be like, okay, here's what we've learned. We're going to try again now. No, that's it.
Just on that note, the rounds are best of 3, aren't they, Crisis?
Yes.
Yeah. So there'll be a minimum of 2 games, worst case scenario.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, I would have loved for us to be able to do double round robin. But the only way for us to do double round robin over an 8-week period is for us to have a broadcast, a match day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every single week. Which, I mean, I don't know about you. I'd love to have that much heroes going on a weekly basis, but that's a big ask for the team. Yes,
totally.
2 nights a week, guaranteed. You'd have to commit to. It would be very, very tough. But goodness me, it would make for some interesting stories. Looking at the performance right at the beginning of the season and then the next. Unfortunately, we're going to have to go from phase 1 to phase 2. So, from one 6-month period to another 6-month period to get an opportunity to see that sort of thing happen again. So we'll see.
I mean,
we'll get that because, at least 6 teams from phase 1 will go through to phase 2. So there's going to be a lot of those matchups getting repeated in phase 2. So it'll be interesting to see through the year how teams develop and what changes from one match to the next.
That's what I'm really looking forward to, is that story, just the different stories, where teams come from, where it's going, how it's playing now as opposed to how it was playing before. Sorry, Blank, I interrupted you.
No. I was going to interrupt everyone else and say we've talked about the format of the Premier League. Open Division was next on our list of topics. The Open League, Open Division format is a Swiss weekly registration.
Yeah, so people should be familiar with this format because it's essentially what we ran for the qualifier stage of every round last year. So 4 rounds in a Swiss bracket. Everybody registers each week for that particular Swiss bracket. You submit your roster, and if your roster obeys the core of 3 rule, from one week to the next, you maintain the points that you earned across those weeks. But the bracket is reset at the beginning of every single week. And you get 4 guaranteed matches. Whether you win or lose, you don't get knocked out. And everybody knows, everybody has experienced that format through last year, and it really worked well for the kind of fluidity that you expect for teams in the Open Division, where 8 weeks is a long time for a group of casuals maybe to stick together if they're just trying out heroes for the first time. But again, because of the core of 3 rule, you might have a team that is just one step beyond being just casual, showing up on a weekly basis, that wants to make a play for that promotion relegation tournament at the end of the phase. And so the format kind of allows for both of those types of teams to be involved. And everybody gets rewarded regardless. Everybody's going to be getting the same rewards as long as they play on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it works really well. If you're just trying up or you want to do a little bit of team hopping, I mean the opportunity is there, and I think that's actually going to be the interesting thing with
poaching's allowed.
Well, it is, isn't it? Right? As long as you keep 3, poaching's allowed. I would actually really love, just as a side thing, I'd love to see the Premier League, like we develop some sort of drafting system for the Premier League, like player drafting. I think that would be. Yeah, I think that would be cool.
Really interesting, honestly.
That would be sick, and I think that would encourage more minor tournaments as well. But I mean, that's a conversation for another day, right? We could get let's talk about it. Fuck it.
I think
let's do it. Do it live.
I think that drafting system would be really interesting. Maybe not in Open Division, but in like a special tournament just for that, where we have a bunch of captains sign up, and then they individually take turns drafting players as part of the system. And so we get these new and interesting teams, which we've never seen before, of player compositions we've never seen before, all duking it out for some prize. Just kind of like as a side tournament, I think, would be very interesting and entertaining.
Like, I feel that something like that would only really work if it was a league, and there was a period of time for the newly formed teams not just to play together in a one-off tournament, but to actually develop some synergy. Because, I suppose as long as each team has a really good shot caller and everybody in the team is prepared to fall in behind that shot caller, synergy can be kind of artificially constructed. But hey, man, heroes, you have to be able to work as a team, and you can't just. Teams don't just gel overnight. No. As we saw.
I think if they ever do.
Well, that's true. That's true. A lot of teams just don't ever gel. You're absolutely right. And then they break up and go elsewhere. Yeah.
Well, that'd be a fun idea. I mean, that's kind of like reminiscent of the ANZ. What is it? What did Morden used to run? The brawl, like the ANZ brawls, or I can't remember what they were called, but they were extremely fun. Royal Rumbles.
The Royal Rumbles.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, just from a casual's experience, experiencing a pro leadership. Morden's Rumble. It would be cool if we called it that. Anyway, that's the Premier League. It's the Open League. It's starting next week, guys. Get really excited for it. Premier League will be obviously on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yep, Tuesdays, Thursdays, on the Blizz_ANZ Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Blizzard_ANZ. Man, wouldn't it be cool if I had a graphic to do that? Blank, let's do that for next week. Let's make some graphics.
Sounds good to me.
And that's starting, is it still the 7:30 time slot, 7:30 p.m.?
Yeah, so that's to accommodate both the casters and the players, because there are people who just can't make a 7 o'clock start, really. That's what it comes down to.
And that's still 7:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Time at the moment.
That's correct. Whatever the time is in Sydney, that time.
7:30 Sydney.
When daylight savings comes, twice a year, the change happens. What's the time in Sydney?
That's it. And then open divs are on Wednesday nights, and they will be on the GameStar TV1 Twitch channel, won't they?
Yes. Yeah, and very exciting. We're going to have a mix of new commentators together with your old favorites. So the
cough disco cough.
The crew that you are accustomed to seeing on the Tuesday and Thursday for the Premier Division, they're going to be mixing it up and kind of working with some of the new casters to develop them. And of course, Blank is going to be producing that. So that's quite an exciting development, I think, for the scene. That it's not just going to be me pushing the buttons, but and it's not just the familiar faces behind or in front of the cameras. It's actually like when I think about where the Heroes of the Storm scene is in ANZ at the moment, it's like mind-blowing for me comparing to 18 months ago. We have got up-and-coming players, up-and-coming teams. We've got orgs getting involved. We've got new commentators coming in. We've got new producers. We've got shows like Heroes Untapped. There's other shows in the works. It's like just amazing, all of the new talent and community spirit that has developed out of kind of the commitment that Blizzard has made in our scene this year, and in fact last year, the build-up from last year. It's just awesome. So yeah, Wednesday night is going to be great. I'm certainly going to be tuning in to watch what's happening on Wednesday.
And judge silently, of course.
Develop.
I think it's all very interesting. I think that a big part of what made Blizzard really take notice of ANZ is just our international kind of how we've been seen internationally. So we've had Skimmy and his fantastic work casting internationally. We've had Nomi and Darksider going on to international events last year and really kind of proving that we were kind of on the higher end, I think, of the minor regions when it came to
pushing the envelope. I mean, a lot of this was Nomia almost taking out games against. It was Fnatic. Was it Fnatic?
Yeah. Did they actually take a game against Misfits? So that's it's. I think it really kind of made a lot of people take notice, seeing Skimmy, seeing Nomia, seeing Darksided, seeing just what we can do as a region. And I think that because of that, they've stopped and they've realized, hold on, maybe there's something here. And I think that that's absolutely true, because I think that players from ANZ, even if the scene isn't big enough to maybe be at the same level of growth as other major regions, I think the players that we have here are at a very high level compared with other regions.
Well, we've got Arcana and Rob that have both gone over to Europe.
I forgot to mention them.
Teams that are over there right now. So,
and not only that, but Arcana is in one of the top 3 teams, potentially in the running to be one of the top 2 teams, in my opinion, because I think Fnatic is kind of falling down a little bit personally. But
big words, my boy.
We've seen Dignitas just kicking ass, so it's really proven himself over there. People have seen him kind of constantly queuing quick into Hero League, endlessly. Even before he even got a team, he was just going and going, and that's what made people take notice. And then Rob goes in, gets a team even before he has a chance to trial anywhere. And I think that says...
He was still in Australia when he got a team, didn't he?
Yeah. So it says a ton, I think, as to the perspective towards ANZ and where we could go. and I think that's very exciting.
Oh, we're running behind on time, Disco. We've actually burned through so much.
Never run behind time this show. I don't know what you're talking about, Blank.
But
calculated.
Do we want to continue this conversation after this particular segment that we always seem to have around this time?
That's a fantastic idea. Let's talk about the upcoming Western Clash after this week's Massive Moment.
Get the f*** out of here, you shit!
Oh, what? It didn't work properly. Scandalous. Try it again. That's my pre-planned one.
Oh, that was fantastic, though. Oh, I want to see it again, though.
Oh, man. Okay. Unfortunately, this week's Massive Moments have been messed up. I told you today I had big trouble, so we'll play this. We'll bring you that on. We'll bring you on a special Twitter edition of Massive Moments after the show. But first off, let's do a little bit of a celebration. Celebration of a little bit of a community love and spirit between two unlikely souls in the ANZ region. Two's company, three's the crowd. So I'll get rid of myself. All right, so not what anyone was expecting, but so sorry about that. Massive Moments. It's I actually the person that dropped the ball today on that one was actually me. I had to make them myself. Normally Neri is the one that constructs them, and obviously when I've exported the video, 15 minutes before the show going live, I've destroyed it. I won't play them individually. I'll get the video out.
I still think IBW gets the win automatically. They want the chat's asking for the straw poll.
The straw poll, so they can vote on it. Vote for can Skimula Hull. Who do you love more, ANZ region? Drop if you drop a Skimmy or a La Hull, or maybe both. Maybe you swing both ways. I don't know.
IBW in as well. Just why not?
Oh gosh.
Oh jeez, I can't believe that messed up. Well. We've had our little break, a little moment of excitement.
Fun fact, Disco, before you go on, that video, that first one you posted of IBW with the bunker, that actually made it onto the Hot WTF Moments 102.
Oh, did it? Oh, that's amazing. I can play that particular one. Give me a moment.
I reckon you should play
Please do. We all love it. Everyone loves it. It's so clutch.
It's so good.
Let me just turn it down.
Especially with his commentary. No, you leave it on.
No, I just have to make it so it's not going to kill anyone. All right, so this was the first one in this week, and I'll get the other three sorted out later.
Get the fuck out of here, you shit!
It's pretty good. It's a pretty clutch play.
Cool. Such a cool play.
It's like double clutch. It's like when people are like, why would you take bunker on the fire bat? It's like, that's why you take the bunker on the fire bat.
I've seen some amazing bunker plays on streams and things. Like it's going to be really interesting to see how people continue to use that in pro play, I think.
The best one is the bunker on the Chromie loop. Her time loop. You put the bunker on the space and it occupies it, so people can't actually warp to the location. So they get offset.
Way.
Oh, that's clever. I didn't even think about that.
Huh.
It's a structure in the game. It's so good. So I was playing a game the other day, and I had a troll in it, unfortunately. But it was playing Blaze, and I got a beautiful message at the end of it. It was like, don't ever play Blaze again in Hero League. It's like, look at the stats. Like, but I've never died, and all my numbers are higher than you. I don't understand. I don't get where this is coming from. Anyway, let's go on. The next major, let's say next major, the first major Heroes of the Storm event has to be the Western Clash, coming up very shortly. I believe it's the 2nd of March at IEM. I can never say the place. IEM Sweden.
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah.
I can't say. I can never say.
Katowice.
The beautiful place, but it's Sweden.
Tomato was talking before about Australia getting its recognition in the international scene with like Darksided and Nomia going over internationally. We got Skimmy going over. Who have we got going over for the Western Clash? Disco?
Oh man, this is so cool. This is so cool on so many levels. So we actually have our very own Vandy herself going across the cast on the desk with names like, we got Trixler, Gillyweed, Dreadnought back from whatever his half-month hiatus was, whatever that was. I want to make sure I say Caldor and not Calaris. Caldor, and I believe there's 6, and I think I'm missing someone, but Trixler, I didn't say him. Who cares? It's not Caldor.
Hey so man, Trixler's pretty great. I like Trixler.
He's pretty fun. So she's going across the cast. Amazing stuff. And I feel what really makes this so amazing is that there's no Australian teams, right, at this event. This is the Western Clash. It's North America versus Europe, effectively. Top 4 from each region. The fact that Vandy is being invited to cast at that, outside the premise of, she's, we're sending an ANZ caster because there's an ANZ team. It makes sense. To be invited, it's kind of big. Will we get Vandy back? They might keep her.
I don't know that they can.
I mean, if you think about it, it's like the next logical step of development for us as a local scene interacting with the international community. Because what's happened in the past is the caster that's been brought over is a play-by-play caster who can help with the story of the team. Whereas what's happened this time for the Western Clash is they've gone, Vandy's analysis is what we need. We don't the story of we don't need the local voice of a team present this time around, but we want the Australian community to be involved in the Western Clash in some way, and it's through Vandy. And I'm absolutely over the moon. I've been sitting for months thinking, when is she going to get tapped for something international? Because if you watch her cast, some of her work is absolutely immaculate. It's like amazing. I'm so pleased with how she's been commentating, and it's such a, like, it's so thoroughly deserved that she's got this gig.
I think it's always just so exciting here, just watching Skimmy and Vandy in tandem, just bouncing off each other. And I think that we've seen Skimmy, we've seen him go over there, prove that he is just as good as we think he is. Prove to the international scene that he is as good as we think he is. And now Vandy gets to go over and prove herself, and I'm just so excited to see how people like her. I think they'll love her. I think they'll really, really enjoy her content.
Oh, definitely.
And our next goal has got to get both of them over
at the same time.
The dream team.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Move over Gillyweed.
You'd want a combo like that at Blizzcon, wouldn't you? You'd want an Australian team go to Blizzcon, and then you'd want the let's call them the power couple.
Bold.
Yeah.
Going across. So you'd like a setup like that. You don't sound like Disco. No, just joking.
No fun there at all. The top 4 teams from EU and NA will be competing against each other to prove who is the best in the world. This is what the event is. This is the Western Clash. Dignitas have taken the trophy for the last 2 years. No North American team has taken that trophy since 2015. I believe it was Cloud9. Is that right?
That was like the BlizzCon, and you could argue, right, that was kind of like a thrown together composition of teams, right? So it wasn't really. I didn't feel it was a good. Oh no! Hang on, wait a minute. I'm getting it right. Yeah, I'm getting it right. I'm gonna say it like that. The first years, right? The first years, people were still figuring out what the HOTS was.
Oh yeah, what is HOTS? What is this MOBA that is not dead? Obviously.
Is Cloud9 going to be playing this year?
No,
they're not.
They don't even. Do they even have a?
They don't have a team.
I don't think they have a team anymore.
Not currently. I think that'll change personally, but we'll see.
Who knows why they don't? I mean, it's not like they have Hanamura in the map.
They're too busy in the Overwatch.
Fuck off, Hanamura.
So do we know who has actually qualified? So we have Team Dignitas, we have Heroes Hearth Esports, Team 12, Method, Tempo Storm, Zealots, Fnatic, and Team Freedom. Now, my personal teams to look forward to are Method.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course. How could we not cheer on our boy? And Tempo Storm. Tempo Storm, I think, is a really, really interesting team. I mean, Dignitas as well. I think Dignitas needs mentioning because they're incredible. But I think that Tempo Storm is a really interesting team to watch because it is literally a team made up of all of the star NA players in their region. We have Glaurung, we have Fan, we have Psalm, we have June, we have who was it? Who is the fifth player?
I'm terrible with the NA rosters, but they are.
Checking real quick.
Well, they're the only.
Caterpillar.
They're the only NA team worth watching.
That's a bold statement, Disco.
They're the only one
I wouldn't agree with that.
At this event. I mean, Team 12's cool because their cat logo is phenomenal.
I think
I love their logo.
Yeah, watch them
Team
because
Freedom.
of their logo,
Team
not because
Freedom.
they know how to play the game.
Don't underestimate Team Freedom. They really did a sterling performance in the first chunk of games this season. So I think they're one to watch as well.
I'm just pretty interested to see any game that Dignitas is playing, just to see how whoever they're playing against competes with them, what different strategies they pull out to try to beat this Dignitas war machine.
Well, you got to remember that it's not that Dignitas isn't undefeated. Undefeated. It's just at this sort of international event, they've just always won. They haven't won anything else important. Just
Disco, you need to watch yourself.
But it's no, I mean just at this event, right? So they're not like a juggernaut, so to speak. But I think Tamara, you're right. I think Method is definitely a team to watch out for. But Fnatic, obviously Fnatic, just a team that they're not hated, but I would consider them like the bad boys of the scene.
I think it's really interesting, Fnatic, because they were so dominant at the very end of last year. And then what we saw was the roster changes, and Dignitas took, the players that they took, and Fnatic made a decision. I think they ended up taking Mene.
Yeah.
I can't remember specifically.
I thought that was right. Again, not that I keep up with them.
I think it wasn't a bad choice, but what it did was it threw off their synergy that they'd had for so long, because Fnatic was a team that was known for being one that had not changed for a very long time. And so we saw that team finally change. And so we saw that team just kind of fell off the wagon. They're not nearly as good as they once were, in my perspective. And looking at their results, they aren't nearly as dominant as they were last year. And Dignitas has gone leagues ahead of them. And Method has really kind of contested them for that second spot. And so I think very interesting this second half of this season to see what happens, as well as at this clash, to see whether they go very far.
I think this kind of ties back a little bit to what Christ was bringing up just for our ANZ region before, where I think Fnatic, because they've always been a stable roster and they've had a change up, they're still learning. They're still learning what their team is, or they're still learning their new members. And I think we're going to see, Dignitas will probably win again because that's how they function. They're very strong. But then towards the end of the year, once Fnatic figures out what they're doing, and historically speaking, once they make a decision, they kind of stick to their guns pretty heavily. So like Chris was saying, if a team manages to stick through that initial gelling period, they normally come out a lot stronger at the end, or at least they've given it their full go to learn their lineup.
See, part of me wants to agree with you, Disco, but also having watched...
But then I also don't want to agree with you.
having watched Snitch and his play in the last half year, he has gone from height to height to height. And I think that he will unite his team underneath him, as he has already done, and really just carry Dig to victory. That's my opinion. I think that they are really going to have an incredible year this year. And I think that Snitch is the keystone to all of that. I think that he's one of the best players we've ever seen. I would go so far as to say.
If not
the best Western player we've ever seen.
It's all going to come to a head very, very soon. Western Clash is on again, 2nd of March. The IEM Sweden Intel Extreme Masters Sweden event.
Is it Sweden? Isn't
I have no idea.
In Poland?
Is it Poland? Isn't that not Sweden?
Poland is Sweden, isn't it?
Poland is a country of its own, man.
Is it next door to it?
Isn't Poland the capital of Sweden?
Katowice.
Let's look at this map. Look at this.
Poland's in Europe and Sweden is in Scandinavia.
Oh my god, they're like nowhere near each other when you look at them on the map.
That's what I was saying. Perth's pretty much Western Australia, isn't it? The whole thing. They're the same thing, right?
Yeah.
That's why I get confused.
Tasmania, Western Australia, they're the same, right?
Well, because that's
they
true.
Are. They're both different.
To my saving grace, thank God they actually are near each other, just because Sweden's godforsakenly huge. Take a look at that. See that? See that? There's like this giant, massive fucking the Baltic Sea just separates them.
Just this massive ocean.
That's amazing.
Oh, good lord.
Well, where is the actual place they're playing? Oh man, it's Katowice. It's actually, if I've got the right place, it's literally it's actually one of the more furthest places in Poland from Sweden.
New Zealand's actually Australia.
That's terrible. Well, I mean, I have never been one to admit my geography is good. It's fucking terrible. As that just proved. All right, Poland. God, they're going to the Western Clashes in Poland.
Woo!
I don't know how to come back from that.
Glad we fixed that. Have you got anything in your mailbag, Disco? We are coming towards the end of the night. I want to know, is there anything in there?
I hope there's no one asking where Poland is.
Just say
Stockholm. It's Stockholm.
If they come over to this country, they can fuck off back where they came from.
That's right.
Jesus Christ.
Get back on your boats. Oh God! All right, so
I can't see anything.
Oh, it's all right.
Is there something else potentially that we could do to close out the night, Disco?
Just give me half a second. There is some question. There was a response. I don't think they're overly serious. I know someone's talking about. I guess just wanted to highlight the True Protector from I don't know where's Germany or Russia. I don't know anymore.
Russia, because
here we
they're
go.
the same country as well.
Yeah, yes, apparently. Here we go. Coffee actually asked, I think this is a pretty funny one. Before we go into the show, Disco's mailbag. What are your top 3 ANZ HOTS memes? Let's, as a little group, I mean, you gotta say free Crowlity, right? That's instantly. Was it free Cone Wizard? Free 'em all?
Oh, what?
3 top ANZ memes.
3 top ANZ memes. I've got a
2
couple
of
of
my
videos
top
for
ones
that.
at the moment are ones that probably can't really say out loud on here.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
I'll pass. But
You good for the moment?
yeah, I'm good. God.
Well, we got free Quality, free
Yeah, Freakoality. I'll go with Freakoality.
That's got to be one.
That's one.
Oh,
Correct. Died for this.
Vicarak died
Died
for this.
Yeah, there we go. Free Quality. Vicarak died for this. I'm going to write this down. This is tweet material after the show.
Oh God.
All right. And can we think of a third one?
I was going to say something about stealing the best player of a team and not making Premier, but...
You want to do a hacky one?
No.
Too soon. Too soon, mate. Blake, what sort of heartless monster are you?
I don't know.
He left to play with friends.
Currently, my number one favorite meme has to be Pop'em. I'm not going to say the full thing, but...
Pop'em. Yep, Pop'em. There you go.
Yep. We'll go with Pop'em.
We do have the Vandy Dabs of that So 2017. Same with the Carpet Cleaner Skimmy.
Carpet Cleaner Skimmy is real good.
The 2017 memes. We need new memes, guys. We need new memes. Free Quality is old as well.
Yeah, but
make our own. Make our own memes.
2018.
I've got to do I know where Skimmy works. I've got to maybe try and do like a creeper video of him or something like that.
Yes! Do it, Chris!
With the phone.
just like a video Skimmy walking to the shops to get groceries or something. Because that's not creepy at all.
Do you know where your children are? Oh, fantastic. That's fantastic. I love that. I reckon we might put that question out. What are your three favorite ANZ memes? All right, guys. Well, look, I think that's it for Heroes Untapped this week. We're going to leave you with a cool little 5-minute video produced by Blank himself on the rise of GG Go Next. But before we do that, obviously, let's just sign out. Tomato, thank you very much for coming on the show. You're doing excellent work on ANZ Heroes. Keep it up as much as you can. I understand that you're going back at uni. The struggles.
All right, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to really start refocusing what I want to write on.
Yep.
I want to start focusing on interviews. I want to start focusing on the players in the teams and kind of where they've come from, what they plan to do, how they think about play, etc. So,
awesome. Well, where can people get in contact with you to talk about these, to request an interview from yourself? I guess to interview them, really.
I'm on Discord. If you go to Disco's Discord, I am on that. You can just add me via there. I'm Tomato Phalanges. I'm also Tomato Phalanges. That's a PHALANGES on Twitter. And so if you... I'm going to just...
Link it in the chat, mate. Drop it in there. I got hopefully Nightbot doesn't go crazy.
That's how it's spelled in chat. So if you go over to Twitter and follow me on there, that's my specifically Heroes of the Storm themed content Twitter. It's where I talk heroes, where I talk about heroes. It's where I sell out, where I do my... Currently, I'm doing a giveaway for a Maiev code and a Hanzo code.
Ooh.
So check it out.
All right, and guys in chat, I'm actually dropping the full link, so you guys can. Oh no, I'm not, because it didn't. Yes, it. Dropping the full link. Go check out Tomato on Twitter. This is such a good week. This is such a good week. Production values are running high. Thank you very much to Crisis for taking some time out of his busy schedule to come on the show and talk about the one thing we all love, Heroes of the Storm. Crisis, where can we... Oh, man, maybe you don't want people to get a hold of you. Where can people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you about HOTS, talk about the rules, talk about things that you could be doing better? Where can people...
The easiest way probably is just GameStar's Twitter. And, I run that account as well as my personal one. So just at GameStar on Twitter. And if you really want to connect directly with me, GameStar Crisis. CHRISIS. Oh, it's up on screen. Just take the pipe away from in between the two words, and you've got my Twitter handle. We've got Discord as well, but I'm on your Twitter too, so you can just find me there. Games Crisis again. Yeah.
Too easy, guys.
Thanks for having me. I just got to say, it's been a pleasure.
No worries.
Thanks for staying the whole time and not running away.
Having me as well.
Not having to go wash your hair like last time. No, just for everyone chat, it was a super important thing. I can't remember what it was, but
I think it was an Overwatch night that they was doing production for or something.
I can't remember. I just know that you had you were going to go all out. Like we had graphs set up for you to talk about and everything, but
Yeah, we actually, production value was amazingly high for that episode, and then you had to leave, and we're like, well, what do we do with all this now? The bin.
We used it. No, we used it. We looked at it like, we have no idea what Chris was putting on these, but we're going to use them anyway. All right.
There was stats about the growth of the ANZ scene. It was like the number of teams that entered in our very, very first competition, and then the number of teams through the whole of 2017. There was some really good stuff. Yeah.
Right, fans. Oh, sorry. I was screaming. I muted Skype, but I didn't. Sorry. I meant to mute Discord and XSplit. So I guess I knock at the door.
Come in.
I've got to go. I've got to go out for dinner soon. It's like birthday dinner and stuff.
Happy birthday again, Disco.
You be quiet. Be quiet. I got through a lot of today, keeping that on the download. I'm 32 years old, mate. I don't have birthdays anymore.
Holy crap.
I just have one step closer to death days.
Hey, shut up.
Anyway, and also, Blank, what if people want to talk to you about all of the cool things you do, about this amazing video we're about to watch very shortly?
Please don't hate me too much for it. I did it with limited time and limited resources, but I did it nonetheless for you, my friends and family, and all my fantastic viewers out there, as well as the awesome guys at GG Go Next. Thanks for Gamester for letting me use the videos from the production. Massive help to making that video. If you want to get in touch with me, I am Twitch TV/Blankhots. I am Twitter /Blankhots. And I am Facebook Blankhots ANZ, Blank in Game. Everyone knows where to find me by now, I'm sure. Thank you for having me again. What was that, Chris?
So famous. Everybody knows how to get hold of me.
Everyone should know me by now.
Man, you get this. You get the special shout out from Blizzard. What are you on about?
KVA asked something of you, Crisis, before we finished up.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing it.
Aww.
That stuff will get me in trouble.
All right.
Spilling the beans. That's good. All right, cool. Sorry, I'm just making sure that I got. Obviously not.
What video, KVA? We'll find it soon, I'm sure.
I'm just being a real budjo. I didn't download it. I'm going to play it through the browser. Guys, I'm Disconcur. Thanks very much for watching the show. I hope you all had an amazing time this week. Sorry, the production's not up to value. I kicked my computer the other day, and I kicked my computer, I guess, while it was doing the Windows update, and it just went insane. Like it looked like it worked, and I didn't stream for 2 days. And anyway, excuses. But guys, thanks very much. The Heroes Untapped. Catch you guys next time. End card, go live. Do your thing. Oh, where's the button? Where's the sound?
What?
Yeah, I hope I got the right one.
It is. It's the right one. Just there's no. Oh, hold on. It's 'cause I got
there's sound. No, I messed up. All right, guys. Thanks very much for coming on the show, Heroes Untapped. I'm gonna jet. I'm sure you guys can see yourselves out the door. Thank you all very much. Thanks everyone in chat as well. We'll see you guys in the Nexus.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the night inning. There ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, here on screen. Okay, it's a dream, and I pray as a team. One day it'll be me. If I want it, then I get it. Head down, don't regret it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I win it. I'm just saying, I'm just living for today. For a minute, I don't stay, I just visit. Have no shame, I admit it. They can find me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me.
Hey guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to be throwing a lovely host over to Blank Hots himself so you can check out some more Heroes of the Storm action. Please, please stick around for the man himself, Blank Hot. Okay, the raid thing's about to kick in. It's going to take a while, right? Let's try this again. Oh, here we go. We're going on. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed Heroes Untapped. It's a show that we always love producing, and we couldn't do it. Right, we couldn't do it without the support and love from you guys in the community. If you have a massive moment, please jump on my Discord and drop a link or a replay into it. It'd be amazing. Any questions or thoughts you have on the show, love to hear it again in the Discord. You guys are amazing, and we'll take you guys later. Talk to you guys later.